All right, so UFC 307. I already did my breakdown and prediction for the main card. And this week I want to give my breakdown and prediction for the prelims, which I usually don't do in my videos, but might as well. I usually always only talk main cards unless it's UFC 300, but on this channel I might take a bit of a different turn. Just so my channel can grow and just so I can look like less of a casual. If you want my full main card picks, I'll leave a link in the description down below. Also, might do a video on Pena Pennington a bit later today or tomorrow. It depends. Might not talk about it at all. But I just want to touch on these prelims from the Fight Pass prelims all the way to the ESPN prelims. Um, so I guess I'm gonna start with Court McGee versus Tim Means. Man, I feel like I know more about the other fighters on the prelims than these two. I mean, I know who these two are. I've seen their fights, but I feel a little less prepared to talk about these two, so I'm just gonna look through their stats. Um, so Court McGee takedown accuracy 25%, 40% for Tim Means, but takedown the fence goes to Court McGee. And then strikes, let's look at their strikes. Okay, so striking stats are kind of in favor of Tim Means. Um, I'll just say Tim Means will win. But I don't really know. I don't really care. But now Carla Esparza versus Tisha Torres. Now this is what I really want to talk about. So Carla Esparza is coming back from a 2.5 year layoff. She's coming off a loss to Zhang Wei Li where she got submitted in the second round. Got completely outclassed and embarrassed in that fight, but this is a former two-time champion we're talking here. And she's being matched up with someone who she's already beaten in the past, Tisha Torres. She beat her on tough by decision. Um, Now, who will win the rematch? It's hard to say because I feel like on paper, Carla Esparza should win this fight again. Styles make fights. Carla Esparza is a really good wrestler. Tisha Torres doesn't really have the greatest takedown defense. I mean, I can just pull up the stats. I mean, okay, 65% is not bad, but I feel like I've seen her get taken down a lot for my liking. I've seen Rose Namajunas successfully take her down and control her. Jessica Andrade, who's not really a wrestler like that, won that fight by just ragdolling her with the wrestling alone. Carla Esparza is a really high level wrestler, and her takedowns are, very difficult to stop, and she does have good ground control. And even if she doesn't completely dominate you with her wrestling, she's just very good at making a fight extremely close. So even if it goes the distance, she's not getting completely dominated or getting completely beat up. And if she doesn't get completely beat up in her fights and it's close, usually the decision always goes to Carla. She has good luck with split decisions. Tisha Torres, on the other hand, has bad luck with split decisions. Her last two losses were split decisions to Tabitha Ricci and Mackenzie Dern. And I feel like even though Carla's coming off the layoff here, I mean, Tisha hasn't been the most active either, even though she's fought twice more, or she's fought once more recently, still. Came back, lost. I mean, most women who come back from maternity leave come back kind of washed, but I'm going to pick Carla Esparza to win this fight. I mean, that always kind of felt like my initial pick. I always kind of felt like Carla should win this fight. She should beat her again. She's a former two-time champion. She's proven to be a championship caliber fighter, whereas Torres, every time you match her up against someone of that championship caliber, like a Joanna or a Rose or a Jessica, we've even Wei Li as well. We've seen how that turned out. She loses. And even Wei Li was able to outgrapple her. So yeah, I think Carla will be able to avoid damage on the feet. Torres doesn't really have that much power. She might be able to have her own success on the feet as well and get takedowns when she needs to and win a close decision against Tisha Torres and retires on top. That is my prediction. Now, OSP versus Ryan Spann. Very random matchmaking here. it's funny because both of these guys are like the bottom of the barrel, lower tier guys at the light heavyweight division. This is a completely low level fight at best at 205. Both guys are extremely athletic and powerful, but also extremely clumsy, horrible fight IQ on both parties. They're both kind of similar because even though they're terrible fighters, they are dangerous and they're both chinny. So it's almost like these guys are mirror copies of each other. But if I had to choose, I'll probably go with Ryan Spann. I wouldn't be surprised if Ovince St. Preux won. Because, I mean, OSP could outstrike Ryan. He can knock him out. But Ryan, I believe, has a grappling advantage. I think he's a bit bigger. If he wants to approach this fight with takedowns and grappling, he could win in that fashion against Ovince. But I feel like even if it comes down to it on the feet, I could see Spann landing first and catching OSP with something big before OSP could catch him. So I'm going to say Ryan Spann wins club and sub, but I'm not counting out Ovince St. Preux. And then Cesar Almeida versus Ihor Potierio. This is a tricky one because Cesar Almeida is very, very inconsistent. Or not inconsistent, what am I talking about? He's inexperienced. I checked his record. I'm not sure if his last fight was a loss or he won his last one and the one before that was a loss, but he's 5-1. Ihor has the experience, but Cesar Almeida is an absolute bruiser. He's got knockout power. Most of his wins are by knockout. He trains with Alex Pereira. Ihor Potierio sucks. He's 2-4 in the UFC. He's pretty chinny. I'm not sold on Ihor Potierio. Just because he knocked out Shogun in 2023 doesn't mean anything, bro. Shogun Hua is just washed up. He was already on his way out by that point, so I'll probably go with Cesar Almeida to win this fight. Could be wrong, but I'm going to go with Cesar. And then Austin Hubbard versus Alexander Hernandez. This is a tricky one because Austin Hubbard trains at altitude, and Alexander Hernandez doesn't have the greatest gas tank in the world, but he is explosive. He is powerful. He could potentially knock out. Austin Hubbard. But Austin Hubbard, I think, has a striking advantage in terms of accuracy. He's got better stats on significant strikes, better defense. And in terms of grappling, he's got higher takedown accuracy and higher takedown defense and better cardio. And you just can't rely on Hernandez. Ever since Donald Cerrone completely fraud checked this guy, he just hasn't been impressive in his fights. He's been super inconsistent since then. I don't know how this guy knocked out Beneil Dariush, because if they fought today, if Beneil and Hernandez were to fight again, Beneil would win. He probably beat Beneil because he cheap shotted him by faking a glove touch and then landing that punch to the chin, catching Beneil off guard. I don't think he's the better fighter. I think Austin's going to win this. And then Marina Rodriguez versus Yasmin Lucindo. Good fight, good fight. I mean, this could be a bad matchup for Marina. Yasmin Lucindo, I feel like she might have that, I don't know if she's lesbian or not, but she might have that lesbian Brazilian dude strength going into this matchup. Those types of styles do seem to give Marina problems. She struggled with Jessica Andrade. I mean, I kind of thought she won that fight. Maybe I'm salty and coping because I picked Marina, but she had a very hard time with Jessica's power, strength, and toughness. Yasmin Lucindo's coming off a good win over Karolina Kowalkiewicz, who Karolina was able to string together a win streak of her own. She was on a resurgence tour, and Yasmin sort of, shut that down. Yasmin is good, and I think she has potential, but I'm going to go with Marina Rodriguez. I just think that it's not Yasmin Lucindo's time yet. I think, Lucindo, I mean, she's got better striking defense, but I think in terms of significant strikes, Marina has the slight edge. I mean, this is a fight that Marina could potentially lose. I'm just pulling up the stats just to get a better feel. Wow, better takedown defense, better takedown accuracy. I mean, she could approach the fight with offensive grappling. But I don't know. I just feel like Marina should win. I feel like she's just a more likely pick. I feel like she's just the safer bet. And I don't know. I just feel like Marina's experience, just at the top, fighting at a top level for a long time. She's been a top 5 staple in the women's strawweight division for years. She's fought the best of the best: Carla Esparza, Jessica Andrade. She's won some, she's lost some, but every time she comes off a loss and I count her out, she ends up winning. So yeah, I'll go with Marina to win. I mean, this may not be my most solid or concrete analysis. This may sound vague, but that's just what my instincts are telling me. But who knows? Maybe Yasmin Lucindo wins this and cracks the top five. We'll see. But I'm gonna go with Marina Rodriguez. And then to top the prelims, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. Man, I want to pick Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I really do. He should win. He should win this fight. He's a way better striker than Buckley. He's got way more experience than Joaquin Buckley. I mean, on the feet in a striking match, you put Wonderboy in a striking match against anyone apart from Darren Till. If you were to fight MVP or Carlos Prates, those are guys on the feet that I think could beat him. But other than that, he's very difficult to beat standing up. But Joaquin Buckley is well rounded. He has a good wrestling game. We saw in his last fight, and against his last opponent, he won via wrestling. And Wonder Boy does not have that good of takedown defense. At least not today. He doesn't. And that just seems to be the clear path to victory to beat Wonder Boy is wrestle him. Look what Burns did. Look what Bilal did. Look what Shavkat did. So yeah, I'll just go with Joaquin Buckley to win. I think he'll just use his athleticism, his strength, and his wrestling. I don't think he'll take chances on the feet against Stephen Thompson. If he does, he'll lose the fight. But Joaquin Buckley is finally realizing his full potential. He's on a 4-fight win streak. Wonder Boy has been very inconsistent since losing to Burns. Since 2021, this guy's been like, I think he's 1-3 in his last, or he's 1-3 in his last four. Lost to Burns, Bilal, win over Holland, lost to Shavkat. Yeah, this guy's on the downslope. I think the young buck in Buckley, no pun intended, will get the job done. But that's it for my preliminary predictions. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Who do you guys got winning on the prelims? Like and subscribe, and peace out.